What's up, everybody? I'm going to be speaking about the Joe Rogan podcast about Adderal. Now, it was pretty interesting to me because, you know, he called out a lot of people, and, you know, it's all public record or whatever. You know, some people, he said he talked to numerous psychologists and asked, you know, how much percentage of the medication is being abused. And he said all of it. Well, okay, there is a legit amount of people out there, which he also said, which I agree with him, that need it. Someone like me who has PTSD, that suffers from PTSD due to a death by auto accident. Okay, now this is where the problem lies. The problem lies is because the person who really needs it, now you got all these people using it basically to enhance their performance. That's what it's doing. It's enhancing their performance in all aspects. I mean, I was a wrestler for 13 years. You know, I wrestled for Southern Regional, Region 6 in New Jersey, one of the toughest regions in the country. You know, what I can say about it is, whether they're abusing it or not, I mean, not for nothing, it has literally taken so many people off of opiates that it's, I'd rather see people on Adderall than see them on heroin. You know what I mean? And I just feel like, you know, you were dead on topic with what you said, and you know what? It is true. All these reporters, all these news anchors, fighters, professional athletes, high school athletes, middle school athletes, they're all on Adderall. I mean, when I tell you, I go to a doctor, I get 30 milligram Adderall a month, and they have 3,000 patients. 3,000 patients. And you know what she told me? She told me, and I'm not gonna state her name, but she told me, a woman in the office, that most of the abuse and the lack of medication is when they did a drug test on 5,000 patients, and you had 80-year-old women and 70, 80-year-old men, 60-year-old men coming in and not pissing dirty for the drugs they're being prescribed. And some of them are on Adderall because they're narcoleptic, or you know what I mean? And it's because the so-called, you know, nurse practitioners or nurses are stealing their medication. And I was actually shocked to hear that. You know, it's actually, it's like, almost like you're trying to make them more sick than they already are, to steal their medication. You know, it's literally sweeping the tri-state, or it has swept, let me say that, it has swept the tri-state. I mean, you're talking, it's more valuable than gold. You know, I call it a bottle of friends. You got 90 Adderall, 30 milligram instant release IRs. That's 90 friends you got. You just found 90 friends. It's crazy, you know. And I've brought myself down to 30 milligram and then a half in the early afternoon. You know, I was training for a fight. I was running 2 miles with a 20-pound vest. I was training out of Tom DeBless's camp, Ricardo Alameda, briefly, and then I started to train out of Jeff Lentz's camp, you know, and I was training using Adderall, and I was beasting it. Yeah, I was getting my ass choked out because I know nothing about jiu-jitsu, but I was just ground, pound, slam, boom, bang, throws, you know. It's definitely performance enhancers, no doubt about it. You could classify it with steroids in a way. It's the steroids for school, it's the steroids for sports, it's the steroids for life. Like you said, you get that euphoric feeling, but one topic you really didn't touch on is, after the long-term effects, like you said, are really not known. And they're not, I agree with you, but I could tell you the effects of being on it for 4 years. After about the second year of being on it, you start to lose that euphoric feeling. So what happens is you actually start to get a depressed feeling, which you also showed when you pulled it up on Google. You know, I believe the real statistics, and speaking for myself, out of the people that are prescribed it, I guessed 15 million, but that was in 2012. I would say right now it's probably around 30 million, 30 to 40 million are probably being prescribed Adderall. And literally, I would say maybe 5 million need it, if that. You know, you're talking people need it who have legitimate mental illnesses, PTSD, bipolar mania, and not necessarily do you always need Adderall. You know, Adderall's not... When a person gets out of control and running around, like your other boy said, which he hit the nail right on the head, he said, I was running all around and it looked like I was getting mad shit done, but I got fucking nothing done. He couldn't have been more right. You know, I've had those moments where I'm running around thinking I'm getting a million things done. You know, I own a masonry company and shit. I coach wrestling on the side, you know, for the little guys, youth wrestling. And, you know, it looks like I'm doing a million things, and I am doing a million things, but you're not getting done as much as you would think you are. Like today, for instance, I took the last 15 milligrams at about 2:30 this afternoon. So, you know, I'm basically leveled out right now, and, you know, I would suggest anybody that's introduced to it, don't even take it. You don't need it. You do not need it. People have had emotions from the beginning of time, and guess what? They weren't doing Adderall, okay? They were manning up, you know? We came to a society where we're so fucking weak that they got a fucking prescription for everything. Oh, my big toe hurts. Write me some Oxycontin 15, 30 milligram. You know, it's a fucking joke out there. And, you know, Joe Rogan, I give you all the props to you, man, you know, for calling it out and saying it how it is, because that is what it is. Everybody that survived the opioid epidemic, which is the only thing you really didn't touch on, they survived it because of Adderall. And now they're all on Adderall. You're talking millions. I'm in the tri-state, and millions of people are on Adderall. Had to take a drag of my cigarette right there. But look, YouTubers, please subscribe to my channel. I'll subscribe back. And you know, between the people these days, we are the anchors. We are the anchors. Everybody's an anchor. You know, news today, you find it out faster on social media than you do on the news. So, you know, we got to stick together. All lives matter. And everybody, God bless. Have a good night.